Hey, Chem 2P21 students, Ian Gordon here to provide a video commentary for this particular assignment. I'm a teaching and learning librarian, been here a while, have responsibilities in chemistry and related disciplines as well, so here to help. Here's the assignment for this particular course. But on this opening page of the Chemistry Library Guide, you'll note that there's the ACS Guide to Scholarly Communication, which is a really neat resource for chemistry and related disciplines on how to do many things, including cite, style, how to create, develop an idea. It has a chemistry focus as well. And the ACS Quick Style Guide as well. On the bottom here, you'll see the Chem 2P21, the form you need to fill out in Word, a sample of the exercise done. I'm using amoxicillin. You can't use it, but I used it to give you an idea of how this works and the sorts of things we're looking for, the PowerPoint slides I'm looking for, and the video you're watching here as well. So here we are, 10 questions that help you to explore the scholarly, the patent, the green, the open literature, and looking at different ways, finding these databases important not only for this course, but related courses as well. Note the chemistry and the biochemistry library research guides. We'll go through these step by step. Hopefully this will help you to be successful. Here's that sample example I've used for amoxicillin, and in bold I've filled it in. I've actually done the exercise for you. So it should work for one of the chemical compounds or drugs that you should find as well. Again, you can crib from this, you can't copy from it. And at the end of it, I put your name and your email address just to identify this thing before you upload it or send it in. Some tips, download the Word form and submit it by the due date. Always a good idea. Consult the PDF for amoxicillin just to get a sense of what we're looking for your drug. Select a small drug or chemical compound from the list. I'd suggest you pick your own from this particular assignment, but I want you to pick one that is actually doable so you won't shoot yourself in the foot. Register for a SciFinder account. If you've done so already, remember it, or we can help you to get that, because it's one of the few databases in the library that needs to be registered. All of the databases, whether it be Google Scholar, Web of Science, Reaxys, they're all available through the Brock proxy server. You should do the assignment on campus as much as possible. For some reason, SciFinder and Reaxys works well, but it's a complex commercial package that sometimes doesn't work well off campus, but I'll leave that to you as well. Be clear and concise when providing answers. We're not writing essays. We just want you to make sure you use the tool and learn from it as well. Recognize the value of Zeterobib, and Zetero. We'll show you how that works as well. The American Chemical Society formatting style to Zeterobib. I'll show you how to do that. Consult the guide, which is an amazing guide to how to frame information in chemistry. And if you book a consultation with me, indicate whether it's by virtual or by Teams, or in person. If you need my help, we're here to help as well. And you can do this in groups if you want, or do it with a person, but don't copy each other's works and don't hand in the same work. That's plagiarization, and you certainly don't want to get there. So here's the research guide, as I said. For the articles tab, it says there's articles, what's peer-reviewed. Hopefully you know what that is. There's actually news articles we don't list here that may be appropriate, just as well as there's databases for thesis or dissertations, for data, all those sorts of things as well. But there's Google Scholar, Web of Science Core Collection, SciFinder N, and Reaxys. So these are 4 good starting point or key databases as well. But there's lots of databases you could use as well. The ones in black here are proprietary or proxy databases the Brock Library pays for. You use them free. It doesn't cost you anything, but they're not open and you can't use them. The ones in green are open databases. And increasingly with AI-assisted databases, the open databases are becoming increasingly powerful, but they're no substitute for Reaxys or SciFinder or other chemistry-related databases as well. Explore and use these at your own leisure. They're amazing. But the database here that's highlighted out, Scopus, is another important key database like Web of Science Core Collection. We don't have it at Brock. You may trip across it in your academic journey. This is a pretty good list. But yet, this list is growing larger than smaller just because of so many new developments in this field. Google Scholar, I always search with and try. I'll show you how I use it. PubChem is increasingly becoming an important open database. Reaxys, SciFinder, and Web of Science Core Collection of 4 databases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 databases that you'll use for this assignment. Zeterobib, here's the URL, is great. And at the bottom, you see American Chemical Society. Zeterobib, if I put a DOI in it formats it. It's pretty good citation style. You can cut and paste and put in your assignment. It gives you APA, Chicago, Turabian, but you have to click on it and look for American Chemical Society. And their citation style, it looks a bit unique. It gives you numbers as opposed to alphabetical order of citations, and it highlights the date. For some reason, I don't know, but this is what an ACS style looks like. So here's the exercise. You have to pick one antifungal or antibiotic drug that we'll be looking at. There's a Wikipedia site, and one of the most common antibiotics by Healthline is a good summary article about this. And there they are. Pick one, test one, try two, try three, find something that may be of interest, but you should use a drug or antibiotic from this list. And consider learning more about this chemical drug by using one of these open databases. They're just amazing that you can use as well. Some are catalogs like Fisher Scientific and Sigma Aldrich. And this list changes from time to time, and there's chemical compounds as well. And again, use Zetero or Zeterobib if you think you need it for this assignment. I certainly would. First question. Complete the following for your chemical, antibiotic, your drug of choice from SciFinder N. The name, the CAS registry number. That's how you see it. CAS registry number, which is a number dedicated to this particular chemical compound. The molecular formula, the IPAC name. It's hard to determine whether it is or not because I'm not an expert, but it should be given to you. And one interesting image, your drug or your compound from SciFinder N or another compound, something that you think that looks neat as well. I want you to comment on this drug's cost. So SciFinder N or any of those chemical compounds will help you find what it costs and how much you get for that costs, and how it can be delivered in what format. And then answer the question, since you're a synthetic organic chemist, would it be cheaper to make this drug from core compounds or purchase it? Briefly explain why. And in 1 or 2 sentences, you got to find out the bioactivity. How does this work as an antibiotic, anti-fungicide? What's the mode of action? That's really important to know why this worked, because someone or a chemical compound or a research team found this out, had it valid and verified, and had it marketed as a particular chemical compound as well. Question 4 asks you to go into SciFinder N. If you can't remember your SciFinder N username account, in addition to your proxy username and account, let us know, but only American Chemical Society can help you. So they have a 1-800 number and they have an email if indeed you can't figure that out, or it's not working on your computer as well. And we need you to search the chemical compound by a number of ways. Receive the product from a structure, and we're using keywords. So it's a multivariate database where most databases you search by word or term or phrases or controlled vocabulary. Chemistry databases allow you to search by structure and reaction as well. We want you to source these and find a patent and cite it using the ACS style. So here we go. There's the proxy address, and on the right-hand side for the list of databases, it gives you the authentic URL you're supposed to use, and it gives you a number of information, and there's the click to register if you've not registered to use it before. Register way before you use it, just so that you know it's working rather than at the last minute you don't know how to use it. SciFinder N, published by the American Chemical Society, is an amazing database. Its strengths are the CAS registry file. Of the billions of compounds around the world, of the millions that are used consistently in research and common world experiences, the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of articles have registry numbers so that people can identify them, not by name, but by reaction, by sequence, but by number as well. We'll go through that as well. The strengths of SciFinder N is it goes back to 1907. It includes dissertations, it includes conference proceedings, and it scans not only the chemical but biochemical but biotechnology literature as well. So it's huge, but it has certain strengths as well. So people use it as a first source to find chemistry information. As a research team wanting to know how do I, or what's out there, or just to know how to do something or what's in the literature as well. This is what it looks like. In the top right-hand corner, it gives your name because you have to register and access it with your registration name. And it allows you, and this changes all the time, it allows you to search for substances, which we're going to do, and I put in amoxicillin, reactions, and references, meaning textual files as well. There's other sequences, and this changes from on, or you can draw a structure and search for it, or you can draw a reaction and do those things it's for. But I'm going to put a substance for amoxicillin, and here's the CAS registry file, meaning it's a number that's related to a particular compound. They're vetted and verified. so that it's appropriate. And it's used in other databases as well. So I found one document. You can then click from this and search for references that are related to it, reactions that are related to it, or click on the structure. So it's a live structure search and search for any references, reactions, or suppliers if you want to buy it. CAS or American Chemical Society SciFinder makes a lot of money when they link the compounds in the database in the registry file to who will maybe purchase it from as well. Here's the full entry, the compound, which is in stereo, structure, the common physical elements and properties, and then other properties that are available here. Quite extensive. You can search CAS SciFinder N by reactions, and you can start with a particular substance or reaction or a reference. So it's all interchangeable. And again, it's using your name and your file as well. So I clicked on it, I put the CAS registry number that I found, and here's the structure. And you can search for it using this template. It'd be nice if the template of structure drawing software was the same for all databases. So SciFinder uses its own, and it allows you on the left to do certain things, to block, chains, compounds, structures, bonds, substitute by classes, by individual, or a number of sorts of things on the right for elements and types of commonly used structures as well. So it's really, really, really key and specific. And synthetic organic chemists rely on their expertise to ask good questions from a structure perspective as opposed to a name or a reaction. So here we are. We've now landed on amoxicillin, and on the left hand side, whenever you pick a reaction or references, the filters change. So on the left, filters are looking for things as a product and commercial availability within a particular physical structure. So it's pretty reactive from structure to text to reactions. So I searched reactions from substances as a product, and I found 189, so I put that in. And it always linked to a citation and chemical data as well. So supplies are here, structures are here, names of citations, whether it be patents or journal articles, are here. So you can limit and filter at your heart's content. On the right-hand side, for this particular reactions, it has, 10 or 12 different filters that you could use, and they're really important to use as well. Here's that retrosynthesis I was telling you about. So the big game in synthetic organic chemistry is to have an AI create a synthesis plan for you. And so here's a synthesis plan for this particular compound. And all these links, these compounds, these types of reactions can be movable on a template, and they can also be changed and interchanged at any one particular time. So this is the future. It has huge computing power of answering good questions by synthetic organic chemists, by organic chemists, to some point inorganic chemists, but it's mainly for organic chemistry as well. So this is an example of a retrosynthesis plan for the start. So I searched for references by the CAS registry number and one advanced field, and I filtered by patent and found a patent. You can send these to Cetero Bibs, Cetero. You can track them, you can record them, you can save them, or if you want, at any particular time in the top right-hand corner, you can save this search and run it again whenever you want. Say, just run it again. Or you can save it and create an alert saying, run this search every time the database changes, maybe once a week, run it in full and see if there's anything new. So it's a constant awareness or alert service. It keeps you informed of what's going on rather than searching the database each time. The database emails you the results, and you can evaluate it by your email. Here's the same sort of search. I searched amoxicillin by text, the word, as opposed to CAS registry number. And it gave me a different number, so you got to ask yourself, think like the database. When is it working, not working? So how did I get more results than less results? Why is that? You really have to think around that. So you do a good search, and a good search is finding not too many results, but not too few, that you could get good answers to your questions. So here's where I searched not only by amoxicillin by text, I put the word preparation or the word a variant form of that and limited by patents. And so I still got a different number. So again, think like the database and make sure it works for you. Here's question 5. We go to PubChem, which is a really neat. I want you to know what the CID, it's like a CAS registry number by PubChem. And I want you to look to see what it tells you about it and look at the mesh tree for it. So here it is, PubChem, National Institute of Health. This is a truly open database. It's truly amazing. It's not as precise and doesn't have as many compounds, and doesn't allow you the chemical structure reactivity searching features that SciFinder or Reaxys has, but it includes amazing information. So I got my best search. It tends to sort them to what people are thinking. So the first entry is probably my entry, but there's 80 compounds and 671 substances, assays, literatures, patents that are searching with this particular radiated compound. So it can get complex as well. If I click on it, it gives me the PubChem CID, which is a number there you need to put in. It gives me a structure, 2D and 3D. It's kind of neat. Synonyms, physical properties. And on the right-hand side, which is further down, it gives you like a chapter of a book, or a monograph, as they call it, for this particular book. So you can read all about it. And I certainly would. It's kind of an amazing story for this one particular small molecular compound or drug. If you click on 20, it gives you the classification. And that's the answer to one of the questions is amoxicillin is a type of an ampicillin, and it's a type of amoxicillin anhydrous drug. So it classifies this as well. If a medline, or you're in the medical literature and you're dealing with assays or chemicals or compounds or drugs, how do you search the literature, and how do they define the appropriate term or chemical using text as opposed to SciFinder, which does it by CAS registry numbers? Oh, here's that mesh heading. Amoxicillin is in it, when it was used, how it's defined, the subheadings you could use, the synonyms or alternate words that are used instead of, and here's the structure. Again, this is what's replicated in PubChem. Question number 6, we're now diving into Reaxys. You don't need a registry, so it's an open database, though you can sign in and use it to save your results and run alerts. We do a quick search for your chemical compound. We want to know the Reaxys ID number is, the number of reactions, and we want you to look around in the search tree, and I want you to do a retrosynthesis as well. So here's the Reaxys interface. It looks different than SciFinder and almost all the databases, but again, it's a chemical structure reaction textual searching database as well. So it's pretty unique. It's not like other databases it's strictly used for chemistry. So you have to think like the database. So I'm going to put in my textual word, pick where I start, and you click on find, and it found 645 substances on my particular compound by text. How many documents and how many commercial substances it's linked to. Maybe there's more, but it makes a lot of money by linking to this because it presumably helps to sell their drugs this particular way. Reaxys is good for, it includes probably more property, more small or molecular. It's greater for synthesis than SciFinder, but it may have the same sorts of things. And it does predictive data, experimental data. It includes older and more variant sources. It's European by nature, as opposed to CAS SciFinder, which is a North American perspective. There's great overlap between the two, but yet synthetic organic chemists use both databases because they work differently and they scan or harvest from the literature in different ways to answer the same question in different ways as well. Reaxys is really powerful, and we're really privileged to have both in our particular library as well. So for that question, we click on View Results. And at the top, you can sort by number of references, any date, whatever. This is the entry we're looking for, and it said how many preparations, reactions, and documents, and it gives you a structure and more information as well. If you click on the first structure, it allows you to search by insert structure by CAS registry number, which is kind of strange. It's a competitor, but it uses CAS registry number. Or you use this name, I would put in the CAS registry number. And again, just like SciFinder, allows you to add, subtract, gives you a palette or a template, uses Marvin.js or ChemDraw.js, which is, again, different than SciFinder, which they use the same structure drawing software. But you can add, subtract, block out, change bonds and rules to get good questions to good answers, like a synthetic organic chemist is you're trying to find out if someone's done this or how best to do it or piece together a reaction sequence. When you click on synthesize, if you think your compound, I'm asking you not to change anything here, but here's one structure, and it has 5 retrosynthesis plans that you could use. And it lays it out kind of like SciFinder does as well. And this is the future of chemical databases, is using experimental data, using raw data, and using published data for patents and articles and other sorts of documents, piecing together these steps. So someone who's wanting to make something or add a reaction sequence or evaluating something, since chemistry is so expensive to use, is trying to say this is a way that's published in literature. Not only does it allow you to change and modify this, these links in the structure drawing is interactive, so you can change and move or do whatever you want. But this is you're on the verge of huge developments, not only for medicine, for chemistry, biochemistry, and biotechnology as well. 5 is the answer to this. There's 5 retrosynthesis in Reaxys. Question 7, we go back and we want to do a question query builder search at this time and search for reactions and filter by document type. We want to find, you can sort by different ways. We want to find an interesting article, and we want to look at a percent yield, and we want to cite this particular article as well. So here we go. I did this on the left-hand side. Just like SciFinder, there's a different set of filters for each particular reaction, structure, and textual search. It's dependent, which is amazing because these change throughout the whole database as well. So you can find and sort and rank and use any particular variable to kind of evaluate whether this is working for you or not. But every article, every substance, every reaction is always cited by a scholarly research or patent literature. So here it is. I found one. I limited it on the left-hand side by an article. It gives me these, and I rank them not by yield, but by Reaxys ranking, whatever that is. And it said 55% for this reaction sequence, and it gives you the citation as well. So you can actually calculate and cite this as part of your research. Here's that full document. When you click on it, it tells you the title, who is publishing, the bibliographic citation. You can export these to Zotero or Zotero Bib. You can add them to a list like a parking lot for any database when you sign in and put your name in there for future research. Or you can create an alert for this. Every time you find this article, you can have the database email you when this has been cited by somebody else at any time in the future as well. So look how complicated. Again, speaks like the database. Has its own keywords. It has its own classification systems, but it's a really amazing database. When I find this article, I usually put the DOI into Google Scholar to find it and link it to our library. And I also use Zotero Bib, again, American Chemical Society citation. They work really well. Here's the whole article. And yeah, sometimes you have to read the whole article, but it's pretty complex. It's hard to read, but to think of putting this together, wow. The time it takes, and this is only 3 pages and a bit. It builds on the body of knowledge, has an abstract citation, authors, affiliations, methodology, results discussions. And since we're building on a body of knowledge in a peer review article, this article added to knowledge, and it built on the references cited at the end of the article as well. Really amazing. Actually, it looks pretty pretty. Question 8 asks you to do a quick search and find your Reaxys and find a patent, and then look at the claims for it as well. Pretty simple, but I want you to dive into the patent literature as well. So for a previous question, I found this particular patent, and there's the citation at the top. Patents usually have a number by the validating agency that verified the patent. The European patent is here, and it gives you a number that's unique to this, a date and the title, and an author, but it can be anything. So here's what it looks like in Reaxys. At any time, you can look at the claims, the bibliographic information, the chemistry that's related to it, or you can click on the full text. But if SPOSNet's looking for you, and this is where it clicks to it, it brings up this particular patent in a different database. This is a really neat database, published by the European Association of all those countries that put all it together, and they take the information and massage it and put it into a file format. So the bibliographic data is here, a description about what it is, the drawings, the original document, the original language, the citations listed to it or maybe of it, the legal events of the patent family, what structure does this fall, so you search and find articles about this that are similar as well. But really the claims is the big thing here. Why was this patent? How did they verify it? That's important. So if you click on the claims, it would tell you everything about that particular patent. Here's the next question. You've been hired, and you look at this antibiotic, antifungicide. We want you to find an article that relates to one of these particular comments in this particular, though 2019 seems a long ago, this is a key document for many things. So look at the document, and it tells you the resistant strains, features, and organisms that they're constantly working with as well. So pick one of these. You search the database, whether it's Google Scholar, Web of Science, Reaxys, or SciFinder. You find an article that's related to this one of these particular strains or topics, threats, or watch lists, items. Since it's medicine, I always go back to Medline, and so antibiotic is in MESH, when you're searching the Medline images, anti-, bacterial agents. Never thought that. Defines it, uses it, and gives you a structure for it. So I can't help not think about it, because when I go to the Web of Science Complete database, which is in our list of proprietary databases, it includes Web of Science core collections, which is core journals and core articles in all areas of science and medicine. BIOSes, which is biological objects, and it searches Medline as well. So we're searching these in textual basis, because you can't search for them using CAS registry numbers or reaccess finds, because it doesn't think and look like a chemistry database. It's a textual database. So I looked at a compound, I looked at drug within 2 words, either side of the word starting with resistance or resistance. I put in a topic, including the mass heading anti-bacterial, to find topics. And then last thing, I wanted to find a chemistry or biochemical paper as well. So I looked through them, I scanned them. I found one, here what I look like, and I linked it. I grabbed the DOI, I read about it. And so this has a methodology, which is important, that talks about this particular compound against a scientifically scholarly article. On the right-hand side are the mesh terms for this article, which is really interesting. So if you went to Medline, these are the words or descriptors for the terms of the processes, and actually the substances as well. So again, you're searching the appropriate terms in that database alone. I go to Google Scholar, dump the DOI in, and it finds the link to our library, tells you more. The cite feature here actually works quite well. It doesn't include ACS style, but I click on it, I read it, I'm looking for it. You have to answer the question about it. It could be in the limitations, the supporting, the acknowledgments, the introduction, the methodology. So read the paper to answer that particular question. I can't help but tell you that of all those databases we searched when we started, Elicit is one of about 12 databases I use that are textual databases that are using AI-driven technologies. This one found this paper, wrote a paragraph for me, and I grabbed it, and it cites the DHARA, don't know how to pronounce it, that person's paper in this textual description. It automatically generated for me. I cited it, put it in Zotero Bib, and grabbed it. It's the future. Not only is SciFinder and Reaccess important databases, there's other supporting document and databases that work equally as well. Here's one of about 10 I use on an ongoing basis all the time. So we're finally at question number 10. 1 or 2 sentences, use your own words, what this paper you picked for involves green chemistry. Well, if you go to this site, Green Chemistry, American Chemical Society is a leader, and they produce 12 areas or frameworks to describe whether something's green or not. Read them, discuss them, pick one, and see if the article that you've chosen mimics, supports, comments on, or includes a discussion about whether the methodology, the experimentation, the chemicals, the compounds, reactions follow the principles of green chemistry. Well, where can I get more information? Well, the chemistry guide and the biochemistry guide. You can always email the library if you have something's not working, and they can help you usually through the day. The chat service, where it's days, nights, and some weekends. You can ask a quick question about them, or you can book a consultation with me. I'd be glad to help you. And when you book a consultation, indicate whether you'd like to meet by Teams or meet in person, because we'll go over a number of things and we'll go through it. We won't do it with you, and you can bring a friend if you want. We just want to help you to learn so that you understand the significance, the importance in thinking like a chemistry and a chemistry-related databases as well. So good luck with this assignment. Ian Gordon, Teaching and Learning Librarian. You can email me at any particular time. But if you email me, use Brock or Chem or something like that in the subject line so it doesn't go straight to my junk mail or trash mail. I'm glad to get back to you at any particular time. Good luck on this assignment. Thanks for allowing me into this particular course.